Hello and welcome. My name is Nathalie Jacoby-Danesh and I'm a Principal Associate in the Reeve Education and Charities team. And after stops in India, USA and the Middle East, I'm delighted to take you today to old Europe, to Germany and to the Netherlands. In case you're wondering, me and my accent, we are from Luxembourg, so we are fitting right in today. And while our clients are anxiously waiting for an update on UK's affiliation with Horizon Europe, or more likely, the plan B that's required in order to keep us funded, there are already reports out there of scientists leaving the UK, finding a home, making it in Europe, or those who are not coming to the UK any longer. So against this slightly worrying backdrop of Horizon Europe and still Brexit, we will be talking for the next 20 minutes or so about the higher education market in the Netherlands and Germany and on issues relevant to UK universities. But before we really kick off, there are a few housekeeping points to mention. One is this session is being recorded. If you have any questions, please pop them in the Q&A box. We will try and respond them at the end of the session. If we don't get to it, we will reply to you via email. So please do leave your name with it so that we can get back to you. You will also receive a follow-up email from us that will include sign-up details for our next webinar on Southeast Asia, which will take place in early December. So they say that you cannot pick your family, but you can pick your friends. And we're extremely lucky because we also get to pick our best friend firms around the world. And I am thrilled to be joined by Haverkort, a partner at our best friend firm in the Netherlands, VBK, and Michael Kleiber, a partner at our best friend firm in Germany, Graf from Westphalen. And Mills and Reeve have been working with both these law firms for many, many years. So I would just hand over quickly to Anne and Michael in that order to introduce themselves for about 30 seconds, and then we will jump into our first question. Anne.
Thank you. My name is Anne, and I'm a partner at the Employment Practice Group of VBK in Utrecht, the Netherlands. And I'm also head of the Education Sector team of VBK. We work together closely with the Employment Practice Group of Mills and Reeve for many years, and we meet with them at least once a year. Also, we stay in touch with the education teams of Mills and Reeve. And for example, we attended the International Education Conference of Mills and Reeve in London in 2019.
Yeah, hello everybody from Old Europe. My name is Michael Kleiber. I'm partner at the German law firm Graf von Westphalen, or JGW. I'm part of our regulatory team with a special focus on public procurement law. We advise many research institutions, for example, on the award of public contracts. And together with Mills and Reeve, we have advised clients on the negotiation of academic and cooperation agreement with German universities and colleges. And as Anne, I also remember the fantastic higher education conference held a few years ago at the beautiful IET London, Savoy Place. That was a very, very impressive networking event organized by Gary Edel and his team. Yeah.
Thank you, Michael. And we are really also very excited because next year, 2023, in March, we will have another one of these in-person higher education conferences in London, and everyone's really quite excited about that one. So moving from there, moving to our first question. What are the current most significant issues in the Netherlands and Germany relevant to UK universities thinking of operating there? Let's start with the Netherlands. Anne?
Well, yes. First of all, in the Netherlands, 1 out of 4 students is from abroad. So that's a lot. And students come to the Netherlands to study from all over the world, but mainly our neighboring countries, such as Belgium, Germany, and of course the UK, and also from China. The Dutch knowledge economy and universities in particular are very depending on international talent, and therefore they are aiming on close collaboration with universities, but also on a clear branding for the Dutch universities. And also they are aiming for retention of international talent in the Netherlands being a knowledge economy. We also see examples of collaboration between language institutes where the UK universities, they teach English for foreign students that will come to the Netherlands to study here in the English language in the Netherlands. Although the Dutch universities are aiming for that international talent, we also see a wish in the Netherlands recently to regulate the entry of foreign students. And that's mainly because of the problems that might occur for housing and also for the number of fixes. Just there's not enough place for all students to choose the study they want to do. And therefore new legislation might be prepared next year. So we are following that with special interest, of course. Other relevant social and or political developments in higher education are the wish for more flexibility in education. For example, to pay the tuition fee per study point instead of a fixed fee per year. And that's a broader development that we see in higher education in the Netherlands, not only for the international students, but also for the Dutch students. But the wish for more flexibility is a development we also see in the increase of online education. We see that since COVID, the Dutch university struggled to get the students back to the campus. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. What's the situation in Germany, Michael?
Yeah, I think the German higher education landscape has changed in various ways over the last years. And one of these changes, for example, concerns the importance of private universities in Germany. Traditionally, the German higher education sector or market is dominated by public universities. However, the importance of private universities has increased rapidly in recent years, while the share of private universities in the number of first-year students was just around 1% in 1995, and this figure has now risen to about 15%. So, and there's a further upward trend. So, this development is probably due to the fact that tuition fees in Germany are comparatively low, not only at public, but also at most private universities. So this is one trend. And yeah, and another development is that was Anne also said or had a look at the same view in the Netherlands, is that the digitalization of teaching is coming, driven primarily by COVID and several lockdowns in Germany over the last few years. Digital teaching formats now work better or are working now than they did a few years ago. So that's two things.
Thank you, Michael. On to the next question. What are the key regulatory issues to consider for UK universities who wish to collaborate with partners in the Netherlands and Germany? What are the biggest risks? Anne, do you want to go first?
Yeah, thank you. Well, one of the biggest issues since Brexit is the fact that UK employees need a residence permit to work in the Netherlands, of course. And also in higher education, this will be a residence permit to work as a highly skilled migrant. And therefore, the employees should have sufficient income. But also, only an employer recognized by the Dutch IND can apply for a residence permit for a UK employee. For researchers, extra qualifications apply. They need a decision to appoint them or an employment contract with a research institution in the Netherlands. And this document must contain the job title and the job code as listed in the university job classification system. So there's new regulations because of Brexit And we have been in touch with Mills and Reeves quite frequently about questions of clients of Mills and Reeve about work permits.
Thank you very much. What are your thoughts, Michael?
Yeah, I mean, I'm coming from the regulatory perspective. So the regulation that British university wishing to operate in Germany must observe depend on the form of the respective activity. For example, it's very complex and expensive to establish an independent university at which degrees that are recognized in Germany can be obtained. So to do so, this higher education institution would first need a state recognition. In addition, the planned study programs would have to be accredited by certified agencies, and then finally institutional accreditation would have to take place after a few years of ongoing operation. So this is very complex, but no special regulatory requirements apply to forms of cooperation where students on a British degree program come to Germany for a term, for example, or and in this case, only the general requirements for work and residence in Germany would have to be met, such as visa and work permit for teacher. So, but one thing is clear, Brexit has made things more complicated here. So, but of course, I think there are ways to solve them.
Yeah, right. Thank you. Next question. How are UK universities perceived in your country? Let's start with the Netherlands again.
Well, the UK is a very popular destination for Dutch students to study abroad. In fact, Belgium and the UK are the most popular countries to go to. The UK universities traditionally have a very good reputation and are highly regarded. Another important aspect for Dutch students to choose the UK is the language. So most students would like to improve their English, and studying in the UK is the best way to do that, of course. Well, Brexit created some uncertainties, but now it is clear that the Dutch students keep their student grants when they decide to study in the UK. And Dutch students pay the international tuition fee, well, and that varies depending on the institution and the type of the course. But overall, UK is a very popular country to go to.
Great, thank you, Anne. Michael, please can you tell us more about the situation in Germany?
Yeah, I think it's similar. UK is one of the most common destinations for German students studying abroad, and I've some numbers and figures. In 2019, UK was the third most popular country for study abroad after Austria and the Netherlands, ahead of German-speaking Switzerland and United States. So at that time, around 14,000 German students studied in UK. That was 10% of all German students abroad, and more than a fifth of them financed their studies with an Erasmus scholarship. So that's, however, the number of German students at British university has dropped significantly after Brexit. At the start of the academic year 2021, so last academic year, only 800 Germans began to study at British universities, and in the previous year, which was still a Brexit transition year, which with largely the same rules and as before, there were 1,600 students. So the number has been halved in this year. Yeah, while it was, I think the things are clear. While it was very uncomplicated to study and research abroad in UK before Britain left EU, more effort is now required due to new visa regulations, and short-term study visits have also become more complicated. And with Brexit, UK has also withdrawn from EU's own exchange program Erasmus, through which thousands of young people from EU spend their terms abroad on the island.
Thank you. So then moving on to our final question before our Q&A session, and also reminding you that there is still time to send us some questions through. to what extent are universities in the Netherlands and Germany looking to participate in collaborations in the UK or collaborations with the UK universities? Anne, you want to go first?
Well, yes, that's happening quite often. And also we see that Mills & Reeve and VBK work closely together in advising both UK and Dutch universities about working together. Well, I can only tell about it on a no names basis, of course, but for example, we've been advising on seconding staff between the Dutch and UK universities. We also advised clients of Mills & Reeve about the Dutch employment law, and more specifically the minimum level of Dutch employment law that will be taken into account if a UK university and a Dutch university conclude a service agreement to second staff to each other. We work together frequently with Mills & Reeve for many years now, and we know each other very well. And the fact that we also see each other in real life at least once a year is very helpful in keeping the lines of communications very short. So we really like to work together and also to advise your higher education clients.
Yes, certainly. I can only echo that from our perspective. Thank you very much. Michael, what about the German universities?
Yeah, I think given the excellent reputation of British universities in Germany, I expect that many universities or colleges in Germany will be still very interested in cooperating in the future. I think in order to be able to guarantee cooperation with UK universities in the future, it's recommended to enter into bilateral partnerships with British universities and to explore new opportunities for cooperation, for example, within the framework of the newly developed Turing program. And as I said in the beginning, together with you, Mills & Reeve, and we are happy to assist UK universities in negotiating such collaborations, not only on German regulatory matters, that's my part, but also on employment, real estate, I think corporate, and especially important for research cooperation in data protection law issues. So through years of working with Mills & Reeve, we can rely on each other, and that is, I think, the most important point when seeking advice in foreign jurisdictions. So yeah, let's see what the future brings.
Thank you, Michael. So we have reached the end of our prepared questions for today, and we are available now for any questions from the audience that you may have. I haven't spotted anything coming through yet, which either means that we have bored them to death or that we were super clear. I'm maybe personally, what I was wondering is in recent months and weeks, what we see maybe as a European at heart with more frequent worries is, are countries moving further to the right in terms of policy and politics, and does it have an impact on how welcome foreigners are, foreign students, foreign teachers, foreign universities? And so it was a bit under that angle that I was a little bit worried to hear from Anne when you said that there may be new legislation coming up in the Netherlands reducing the potential access of students to Dutch education in the Netherlands. What would you say to somebody who's asking, is it a political development, or what are the underlying motivations?
Yeah, well, it's I think it's not a political development in the Netherlands. Traditionally, of course, the Netherlands being a very small country, we are very depending on our relationship with other countries. And like I said, out of 4 students is from abroad, and the universities think that's a very good development. They think international students bring knowledge to our country, and they really want to keep that talent in the Netherlands. The only reason that there is legislation, there might be legislation in development next year, is to make sure every student that comes to the Netherlands is very welcome here and also be able to study and also find housing. So, for example, if many students come to Amsterdam and there's not enough housing for every student, then we cannot be able to be the country, like the welcoming university as we want to be, and therefore there might be some tools to regulate that. And the other part is that sometimes the Dutch students, they are not be able to choose the study that they want because it's there's a number of fixes, and that is only a problem if the students from abroad, after studying, they will go back to their own country, and then we don't have enough knowledge inside of the Netherlands. So that might be a reason to regulate it as well. But politically, we have many parties in the Netherlands. We don't have mainly right or left. It's always a mix, and it's always welcoming towards other countries because we need to. We are depending on international talent.
Wonderful, very pragmatic considerations. That's reassuring. Thank you. We got another question here. Michael, if you had one piece of advice for a UK university considering entering into a collaboration agreement with a university in Germany, what would it be? One.
You mean how to get in contact, or what, or does it mean how what thing had to be part or regulated in the academic agreement?
Well, our question wasn't that precise. You may pick.
Okay, so it was just, can I see the question in F&A? Yes, right?
I believe so. It's the first one.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I think one thing which is very, very important right now is if you have, it's not the studying part or the part for the students, is more the part of research cooperations. And I think it's now very a big challenge is how are UK university part of the Horizon program or not? So I think this is one big thing, and one big thing that need to be clearly has to be made clear in the cooperation agreement is the different, I think, data protection approaches. So I think this is one very significant thing in cooperations, research cooperations between UK and German universities. So one thing.
And that's probably one thing to bear in mind over the coming years as well, how the data protection regulations may drift apart between the UK and the continent. And we need to keep an eye on our contractual frameworks that we put in place now. It's not a one thing that will be okay for the next 10 years. It will be subject to change.
Yeah, and that would be the same for the Netherlands, of course, because the Netherlands is we have the same data protection laws, and we are advising universities also in the Netherlands about these laws, which is quite complicated in higher education.
Yeah, thank you. We got another question through saying, we are considering having a call for joint academic appointments with partners in Germany and the Netherlands. How easy is it to navigate the regulatory environment around joint appointments? I guess that's a bit of a mix between HR on the one hand and potentially other regulations or immigrations on top of that. And would you explain us the Dutch system first?
Yeah, I think it would be complicated to have a joint appointment when you have to establish which law is applicable on the arrangement for the persons. Is it in research, or the question doesn't say?
Academic appointments.
Yeah, academic appointments.
It may well be research related to the funding constraints.
Yeah, well, most of the time we see that the construction is a secondment. So there is one employer, and then via the secondment you make arrangements to have the joint appointments. So I think that's two things. So the appointment academically, but then of course you also have to have the relation between the university and the person, and that well, if there is an employment contract, it would be most practical to have one employment contract and then a secondment. And if the contract is with the UK university and you have a joint appointment, well, then you have to look into the employment conditions when that person is working in the Netherlands or for the joint structure.
Yeah, that makes sense. I suspect the situation is probably quite similar in Germany.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think. I mean, it's if it's not a question of, I think, regulatory, but I think the things or the big point that Anne has made is the same for Germany. So yeah. But I see there's another question also for me.
Yeah.
If it's a joint appointment between also the Netherlands and Germany and the UK, we are the same way as we are in touch with our UK employment law colleagues from Mills and Reeve. We also have a quite good connection with the employment lawyers from Graf. So I would be in touch with them then.
Yeah.
Excellent. And I guess the main point to consider is if the purpose of this is, as I suspect, is to tap into European research funding, the appointment would need to be at the right level so that actually, obviously, it qualifies for the funding that you have at the back of your mind and may want to secure. Yeah. Thank you. Yes, Michael, you're right. There's another question to you. Do you see many collaborations between German corporates or companies and German universities? And is that an area that may offer opportunities for UK universities?
And I can say that this is you can see it very often. I think there are some bounds between companies and universities, but my opinion, or what I can see, is that in Germany it's very separated. Yeah, the company world and the university world. So I think there's something in a transformation, maybe. Yeah, but I can see that these two parts are working very well together in Germany. So I'm not sure if that's a good opportunity to come. So I understand the question. If UK university can cooperate or can be part of such corporations, I mean, maybe there are some corporations, but I guess that's not the big thing in Germany.
Not so much a tradition. It remains more of an Anglo-American way of approaching collaborations and also funding research.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's really interesting. I think I need to draw this to an end now. We have reached our half-hour mark. So thank you so very much for joining us today, Anne and Michael. It's been really fun and really good to see you both. I just want to bring to the attention of everyone that In December, we will have another, so far our last planned HE International webinar with our best friend firm in Southeast Asia, Tilliger and Gibbons. You will be receiving an email to sign up to that if you wish. You will also receive a request for some feedback, which we would love to hear from you. And yeah, I'm sorry, we are overrunning, so I really don't want to keep you. We're all quite busy, so thank you so much for making time for us today. We enjoyed chatting with each other, and I obviously hope that you enjoyed hearing from Old Europe today as well. Thank you all.